Let us pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and legislative assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants whom you've been pleased to call to the performance of important tasks in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our church. Amen. Good morning, honorable members. Shall we manage with that noise? Is the ventilation? Yeah, we can't. I agree with you. So can that aircon be put off? It's making noise. Then I call upon the clerk that we start the order paper.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Proceed, please.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Proceed, please.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Honorable members, we have one business under this order by Honorable Francis Kalumu. That is labor. Is it labor? Yes. And in the absence of Honorable Kalumu, we can have a member prosecute the business. Thank you, Honorable Minority Leader. Proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm Alex Kamitu, Leader of Minority and a member of Labour Committee. And on behalf of Honorable Francis Kiko Kalumu, I'm going to read the paper. Honorable Speaker, I wish to lay on the table of the Assembly today, Tuesday, 24th day of May 22, report of Labour Public Service and ICT Committee on consideration of the Machakos County State Officer Retirement Benefits Bill 2022. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Kamitu. The paper is laid. Is it signed? Mr. Clerk. The report. All right. Yes, it is. Thank you very much. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Proceed, please.
Order number 7, statements.
Honorable members, under this order, we have one business by Honorable Majority Leader, and I notice he's not here. Honorable Minority Leader, you proceed on that one. Statement on House Business Committee, on balloted business.
Once again, thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm Alex Kamitu, Leader of Minority in this House, and on behalf of Honorable Mark Mwendo, Majority Leader, I'm going to read today's statement. Honorable Speaker, the House Business Committee met today on 24th May 2022 to prioritize business for the House pursuant to the provisions of the Standing Order number 151 sub 5. The committee balloted business as follows. 1.
What time was the meeting?
9
o'clock.
9 o'clock, Madam Speaker.
On 24th May.
On 24th May 2022.
Proceed.
1. Tuesday morning, 24th May 2022 at 10 a.m. A. Report of Environment, Lands, Energy and National Resources Committee on petition by the Union Water Project by Honorable Robert Kisini, Chairperson, Environment, Land, Energy and National Resources Committee. B. Report of the PIC Committee on the Auditor General report on the financial statements of the County Executive for the year ended June 2020 by Honorable Winifred Mutua, Vice Chairperson, Park Committee. 2. Tuesday afternoon, 24th May 2022 at 2:30 p.m. A. The Machakos County State Officers Retirement Benefits Bill 2022, second reading by Honorable Francis Kioko Kideka. B. The Machakos County State Officers Retirement Benefit Bill 2022, Committee of the Whole House by Honorable Francis Kioko Kideka. C. The Machakos County State Officers Retirement Benefit Bill 2022, third reading by Honorable Francis Kioko Kideka. 3. Wednesday, morning 25th May 2022 at 10 a.m. A. Report on financial statements of Machakos Water and Sewerage Company for the year ended 30th June 2018 by Honorable Winifred Mutua, Vice Chairperson, Park Committee. B. Pronouncements of budget highlights and revenue-raising measures for the year 2022, financial year 2022 and 2023 by CEC Finance and Economic Planning. 4. Wednesday afternoon, 25th May at 2:30 p.m. A. Report on financial statements of Matungulu Water and Sewerage Company for the year ended 30th June 2018 by Honorable Winifred Mutua, Vice Chairperson. And B. Chairperson, Park Committee. B. Report on financial statements of Machakos Water and Sewerage Company for the year ended 30th June 2019 by Honorable Winifred Mutua, Vice Chairperson, Park Committee. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minority Leader. Clerk, please proceed.
Order number 8, motion approval of report of the petition on Dione Water Project.
Thank you, Honorable Members. Under this order, we have one business by Honorable Kisini on behalf of the Environment Committee.
Thank you, Honorable Madam Speaker. My name is Honorable Robert Kisini, representing the people of the river. I'm the chairman of Environment Committee. Approval of report of the petition on Dione Water Project. Honorable Speaker, that are aware that the Millennium Development Goals, MDGs, as well as the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, have recognized the importance of water in the survival of the humanity. Further, aware that the Constitution under Article 43(1)(d) recognizes the rights of the citizens to access clean and safe water in adequate quantities. Informed that, pursuant to Standing Order 201/1, sub 1, the petition on Dione Water Project was committed to the Committee on Environment, Lands, Energy and Natural Resources to investigate and report back to the House. Cognizant that the Committee of Environment, as provided in Standing Order 2011, conducted the site visit and consequently compiled a report. Honorable Speaker, I wish to move the motion that this Honorable House discusses and approves the report of the Committee of Environment, Lands and Natural Resources on the petition of Dione Water Project. Honorable Speaker, I wish to call Honorable Ziva, a member of the Environment Committee, to second the motion.
Honorable Ziva.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members present. I'm Jacqueline Ziva, representing the people of Ikombe Ward and the minority chief whip in this assembly. I stand to second the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Nziva. Honorable Kisini, can you proceed, and we will agree as follows. You have the report?
Yes, I have the report,
Yes.
Madam Speaker.
You just read the introduction so that we can know what the petition is about. What is the heading of the report?
Madam Speaker, the ending of the report is the report of the Committee of Environment, Lands and Natural Resources on petition by residents of Medu Village, Kalama Ward on Dioni Water Project.
The report is, members, you have the report? In soft, Honorable Majority Whip, umefanya kazi yako leo?
Honorable Speaker, let's work on it, and anytime,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, at least you seem to have an assistant.
Thank you, Honorable
So
Musimi.
in soft, members, just that way we can move faster. So Honorable Kisini, you read the introduction.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Introduction. Honorable Speaker, the petition on Dioni Water Project was received in the Assembly in November 2021 pursuant to standing order that provides that a petition to the Assembly shall be submitted to the clerk by a petitioner and reported to the Assembly by the Speaker. The petition was presented to the Assembly by Mr. Simon Motesia on behalf of the residents of Medu Village, Kalama Ward. The petition was tabled in the Assembly and committed to the Committee on Environment for interrogation and reporting pursuant to Standing Order 203 sub 1 states that every petition presented or reported pursuant to this part shall stand committed to the relevant sectoral committee. Mandate of the committee. Madam Speaker, the Committee on Environment is a sectorial committee established under Standing Order number 190. Yes. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Committee membership. Honorable Speaker, the membership of the aforementioned committee is as follows. Honorable Robert Kisini, Chairperson. Honorable Christian Skoki, Vice Chairperson. Honorable Paul Museku, Honorable Mark Mwendo, Honorable Alex Kamito, Honorable Brian Kisila, Honorable Cosmas Kieti, Honorable George Kingori, Honorable Helen Deti, Honorable Jacqueline Ziva, Honorable Jan Nyawira, Honorable Joseph Musau, and Honorable Michael Mutiso, all members of the committee.
Right, we have seen the secretariat is also listed there. So can you, 4.0 is about background information.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. And now 5. Yes, Honorable.
I'm sorry, I don't want to mislead the House. What I saw, it is not the report on the paper.
All right, no worries. It's going to be. Honorable Majority Whip. Yes, is doing
I'm
the
actually on it, Honorable Speaker.
doing the necessary.
Thank you, Honorable
So
Speaker.
we have the grievances in the petition, which are also set out in clause 5.0. Can you come to, and 6.0 is committee site visit. Is that so, Honorable Kisini?
Yes, Madam
I
Speaker.
think you need to read to the members so that they appreciate what you saw when you went to the ground.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Committee site visit and observations. Honorable Speaker, in March this year, the Committee on Environment, in executing its mandate, as provided in the second schedule of the standing orders and also in Standing Order 195A, conducted a site visit to the said Dioni Water Springs and also met the petitioners of Medu Village. The committee held a lengthy discussion with the petitioners and observed the following. 1, that a big hill borders Medu Village and Changala area in Kalama Ward, from where the said water springs flow from. The springs are permanent and are flown all through. All the residents of Medu Village confirmed that in 1980s, the water was still flowing. The water collects in a small stretch of a nearby stream. 2, the area where the springs are located is rocky and hilly, making the place inaccessible to draw water from the springs. Hence, the residents and their livestock continue to starve without water when natural water is just small distance from their homes. Further, it is still difficult to get the springs water utilized in their small households' irrigation works. 3, Madam Speaker, residents in this area scramble for the little water supplied through a tap in Changala Market, but the supply is very limited and unpredictable. 4, the topography of the area is suitable to allow the tapping of water from the springs and reticulating it to the starving community around Changala Market. 5, the community has started the groundbreaking process of mobilizing themselves under this project named Dione Water Project and have started to collect stones and sand to assist in tapping water from the springs.
Committee findings.
Committee findings, Madam Speaker, the Machakos County Water Policy of 2018 provides for the following policy objectives. A, to achieve sustainable water availability for the purposes for attainment of cultural and social, agricultural activities and pollution, environment degradation, and climate. The beneficiary population of Dione Community Water Project is about 600 inhabitants. The principal activity of this community is smallholder farming, largely for household consumption. Most of the villagers own small yielding plots of land, and as a result, the village is characterized by acute poverty. Whereas the scarcity of clean and safe drinking water is so acute across Machakos County, the residents of Middle Village are blessed with South Dione Spring. Since the spring is located in a hill, water can flow freely, only be supplied Sorry, Madam Speaker, I've just been corrected on the findings. I was continuing on another paragraph. Committee findings, Madam Speaker. That the Machakos County Water Policy 2018 provides for the following policy objectives.
You are taking
Hey.
us through that?
Yeah. Excuse me, Madam Speaker.
You're on page 6.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. B, to ensure equitable supply of quality water to the citizens of the county. C, to establish proper subsidy programs in poor resource settings, that's free water. D, collaborating with other departments to provide holistic technical guidance for all county projects. Honorable Speaker, in line with the above policy objectives, Dione Water Project forms a forefront priority project for the residents of Middle Village owing to the scarcity of water in the area, so that the project can contribute in realizing the attainment of the set policy objectives. 2, Dione Water Project, if implemented, will achieve the following. A, reduced incidence of water-related diseases and reduced spending on medical treatment in the community. B, clean and safe drinking water available for all in the community. C, strengthened hygiene and sanitation methods in the community through public awareness. D, increased access to clean drinking water by reducing distance walking by women and children to fetch water. Recommendations?
Proceed, please.
Honorable Speaker, based on the above observations and and findings, the committee recommends the following. 1, that the county government of Machakos through Department of Water in the next financial year implements exploitation of middle water springs by harnessing the water and recirculating it to the residents of Middle Village, and in collaboration with members of the Dioni Water Project as per the objectives of the Machakos Water Policy 2018. 2, that in the next financial year, the County Assembly allocates enough funds for implementation of the Dioni Water Project. The funds should be enough to cover the construction of springs catchment, installation of water tanks, pipe works, stand taps, and community labor, mobilization and sensitization. 3, project sustainability is a post-project concern which ensures that the water supply operates and is maintained efficiently throughout its lifespan. After implementation, the Dioni Water Project, after implementing the Dioni Water Project, the county government should, in collaboration with the community, establish Dioni Water Project Committee, which should be trained and transformed to a water maintenance committee, that is WMC, to effectively manage and monitor their water supply. 5, pursuant to Standing Order number 181, the Department of Water should implement the above recommendations and appraise the Assembly on the status of implementation within 60 days of approval of this report. Conclusion, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, adequate access to safe water and improved sanitation serves in central to achievement of better health and well-being of Kenya's population. The universal normative rights to water and sanitation include availability, quality, accessibility, affordability, and acceptability. The demand for water has outweighed the supply due to reasons such as increased population, increased infrastructural development, and climate change effects. The county government of Machakos should continuously undertake projects to improve access to clean, safe water for both domestic and industrial. Honorable Speaker, it is my privilege and pleasure on behalf of the Committee on Environment, Lands, Energy and Natural Resources to table before the Honorable House the reports on petition by residents of Middle Village on the Dioni Water Project for discussion and adoption. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Robert Kisini, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Kisini. Honorable members, I now propose the question that this House discusses and approves the report of the Committee of Environment, Lands, Energy and Natural Resources on the petition on the Dioni Water Project. Honorable members, I invite you to debate the motion. Honorable Kamulu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm Geoffrey Kamuru, Apaka was Toko Iveti. Honorable Speaker, I want to start by congratulating the Committee on Environment because of the good work which they have done as far as the petition is concerned. Honorable Speaker, the recommendations which are given, if they are adhered to by the county government of Machakos, I think the people of that locality will benefit a lot. However, Honorable Speaker, there is need to ensure that catchment area is planted trees, indigenous trees, so that the spring cannot exhaust. Apart from what has been petitioned, Honorable Speaker, we are taking as an alternative boreholes in Machakos County in the provision of water in our regions. But we are forgetting the origin of water catchment areas, especially on the hilly areas of Iveti. Honorable Speaker, I happen to belong to Upper Kaiwa stroke Iveti, where the people get clean water, actually which does not get finished on wells. Honorable Speaker, there is need to ensure that the wells within those hilly areas, especially Iveti and Lower Kaiwa, are taken care of. They need to be constructed, and that water needs to be utilized by the county. It should not be left unattended. Honorable Speaker, it is just last week where I was actually put into tax by people of a region called Medanga, where I was forced to use my own money to construct the well. So, Honorable Speaker, if the county can work on the wells in the region, actually they can continue providing clean water to the people. However, we need to have even excess boreholes all over so that the people of Machakos County can get adequate water, owing that water is life. Making emphasis on Bioni because that area is almost arid. Actually, these reports should not be taken for granted. Let the county work on it. Let those people get water because it is their right to have that water as per the petition which is actually presented in this assembly. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to support that report, and I want to congratulate once again the committee which actually has done very recommendable work. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Kamulu. Honorable Mate.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I stand here to support and to congratulate my committee that came up with this very important report. We all know that the Kenya Constitution states that water, every citizen of this country has a right to clean water, has a right to availability of water. I fully agree with the prayers of the petitioners, and mine is to request that the incoming government of Machakos works on the water policy to ensure that water is available to all Machakos citizens. This year, we are also working on the budget. I pray that we allocate funds for this specific project so that the residents can have water. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Mate. Honorable Kamito.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I'm Alex Kamito, Leader of Minority and MC Talaward, and a member of this committee. Madam Speaker, the report is very specific in a sense that that is an area that the committee visited, and we saw there was plenty of water. It is a continuous spring water, meaning, Madam Speaker, it's a question of now the executive to make a mapping in regard to putting, raising, because it's a raised ground, putting up tanks, piping, and then it treats the water. Otherwise, the most important thing is, Madam Speaker, is to check in our budget, as the report says, so that we can put money for the benefit of the petitioners. And on the same note, Madam Speaker, I'm also experiencing the same, because in my ward, in an area, Chaume, there is also a spring known as the Chamole spring. It is also a continuous spring that has plenty of water. So we are only saying that come the next government, Madam Speaker, it is important that they do some mapping. They do some mapping in areas that we have got springs which flows throughout the season. Instead of even digging, boreholes, it will be very cheap. It will be very cheap for the county government, the water department, to make a survey, send their technicians because in that department, Madam Speaker, we have got people who are experts. We have got engineers of water who should give out the capacity of the spring and come up by tapping, and at the same time, as what Honorable from Lower Kiowa said, areas that have got spring water, it is also important we plant trees so as to prevent those areas so that we may have continuous springs flowing throughout. Otherwise, thank you very much. This is a very important petition, and we should take consideration by the executive providing that assignment. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Can I call upon the mover of the motion to reply?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Once again, I'm Robert Kisini, the MCA for Athi River and the chairman of the Environment Committee. Madam Speaker, I want to thank the honorable members for their contribution in this petition. Madam Speaker, you have heard that the petitioners of Middle Village, they have a spring water which is untapped, which does not benefit the residents of that area, and why they still starve. I'm saying it is good. The county government uses very little money and tap that natural water, which does not even need treatment. As a result of this, you have heard the cry of the honorable members who still have other natural water which has not been tapped and which can really assist the residents. Not forgetting, as the chairman of the Environment Committee and Water, to mention the 7 wonders of the world, which can be seen at Moffat's, Mheshimiwa Moffat's, Honorable Moffat Maitha's. There are 7 wonders, water which can be distributed the whole of Matungulu. So, Madam Speaker, it's my...
that those 7 wonders, Honorable Maitha, can you tell us about them? Honorable Kisini, just have a seat there briefly. All of them are there. All the 7 wonders of the world, they are there.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Kisini was talking about Ngalalia waters, those springs. That borehole has a lot of water, and as he says, which can bring water or take water to all the places in Matungulu Westward, and even Tala and some parts of Kangundo. So if that place can be utilized, we can get a lot of water from that borehole. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. So the next government, which is coming, let it look into that Ngalalia water. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
You. Honorable Moffat, Honorable Kisini.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for calling upon Honorable Moffat Maitha to put that point across. Madam Speaker, you have heard there is need to harvest water, which is natural water. And Madam Speaker, as I sit down, I still join the other honorable members in the cry that the next government try to tap the natural waters, which will not be very expensive and which will assist the residents. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Kisini. Honorable members. Right. I now put the question that this Honorable House discusses and approves the report of the Committee of Environment, Lands, Energy, and Natural Resources on the petition on the Ndiuni Water Project. As many as of the opinion say aye. As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. Mr. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 9, motion, approval of report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the County Executive of Machakos for the year ended 30th June 2020.
Right, honorable members, we have one business under this order. by Honorable Winifred Mutua. I do not see Honorable Winifred Mutua here. Any member who is of that committee can prosecute the business, or any House leadership. Honorable Mita, thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Moses Mita, Majority Whip of the House. And on behalf of the committee members, Honorable Speaker, I wish to table the following motion. Honorable Speaker, that aware that Article 2295 of the Constitution provides that the Auditor General may audit and report on the accounts of any entity that is funded from public funds. Further aware that Article 2297 of the Constitution that states that audit reports shall be submitted to Parliament or the relevant county assembly. Cognizant that the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the County Executive of Machakos for the year ended 30th June 2020 was received in the Assembly pursuant to Article 2297 of the Constitution. Further aware that the report was committed to the Committee of Public Accounts and Investments pursuant to Standing Order number 185 2B and C, that states that the Public Accounts and Investments Committee shall be responsible for examination of reports, accounts, and workings of the county public investments, and whether the affairs of the public investments are being managed in accordance with sound financial or business principles and prudent commercial practices. Aware that the committee, after receipt of the report, conducted several meetings with the accounting officers together with the officers from the Office of the Auditor General, and consequently compiled a report. Honorable Speaker, I wish to move the motion that this House discuss and approves the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the County Executive of Machakos for the year ended 30th June 2020. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wish to request Minority Leader, Honorable Alex Kamitu, to second the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mita. Honorable Alex Kamitu, Minority Leader.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I stand to second the motion. Thank you.
All right. Honorable Mita, on the report. We shall just go together, see what we need to mention, what you will refer.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I request, Honorable Speaker, with your permission, maybe you allow me to go through some issues from the report which were raised. And after that, I go to committee recommendations. But of course, before that, I go through a committee mandate and committee membership, Honorable Speaker, with your permission.
What we suggest,
Yeah, Honorable
do
Speaker.
the heading. What is the heading?
Okay. The heading is a report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of County Executive of Machakos for the year ended 30th June 2020 by the Public Accounts and Investments Committee.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Page 2, we have seen introduction is under 1.0. Committee mandate, we know it's in the standing order. So can you go to committee membership?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. That is 3.0, committee membership. Madam Speaker, the Public Accounts and Investments Committee comprises of the following honorable members. 1, Honorable Winfred Mutua, that is the Vice Chair. 2, Honorable Paul Museku, member. 3, Honorable Alice Nzioka, member. 4, Honorable Johanna Munyao, member. 5, Honorable Josephat Kasioki, member. 6, Honorable Peter Mutiso, member. And while on that, Honorable Speaker, I wish to inform honorable members that I had already posted this report in our official WhatsApp groups. Thank you.
Right, now 4.0 is about what?
4.0 is on receipt.
Legal framework.
Yeah, receipt of the report and conduct of interrogation, Honorable Speaker.
All right. Because what I
That
have
is the
is
headline I have.
4.0 is legal framework. Right? Okay. It's okay. I think that when they were printing. But we have a provision of the guiding legal framework, which members can read for themselves. Honorable Member, the next paragraph is on for you.
That is 5.0, queries in the financial statements.
There is also a provision for receipt of the report by the Assembly, which you have noted, isn't it? So we go now to queries. Honorable Mita.
Okay.
But when you come to any work which is within a table, you just refers to
Okay.
the table, isn't it?
So I go through the report, Honorable Speaker.
It's important.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. There is 5.0, queries in the financial statements. 5.1, variances between financial statements and ledger balances. 5.12, observations. The committee made the following observations. 1, the figures indicated for various entries presented in the column of financial statements are correct and agree well with the miscellaneous receipt register, that is MRR. It is from the MRR where financial statements, including trial balance, are drawn from. The problem is the system does not post exactly the same figures in the IFMIS. Hence, financial statements drawn from IFMIS have different balances, resulting in these variances. 2, the committee noted, and with confirmation from the Office of the Auditor General, that this is a IFMIS system program anomaly, affecting all entities utilizing this system. 3, that the Department of Finance has reported this anomaly to the National Treasury, and the committee was advised that the same was being addressed. 5.13, recommendations. The committee...
Honorable Mita,
Yes, Madam Speaker.
I have a report here which is quite bulky. And
Yes.
I see the queries are under 6.0, and then 6.1 is the queries are indicated. But now the observation, you're doing a summary.
I think these are summary report.
You have the executive summary.
Yeah.
Okay, so members, remember, what you have been sent is the full report. Remember to be noting the queries which were raised, so that now the committee is doing observations. That's correct?
Yeah, thank you.
Right, let's go on.
So I proceed, Honorable
Yes,
Speaker.
proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. 5.13, recommendations.
Honorable Muli, you are not okay? Please speak out. You know your work is to talk. If you don't talk, then...
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm Joshua. I was trying to consult Honorable Musimi. Thank you, Madam.
About the business on the table,
Yes, Madam Speaker.
he never heard anything from you, but it's okay. Let's proceed. So we forget that there was anything happening. Proceed, Honorable Mita.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. 5.13, the committee makes the following recommendations: that the Department of Finance should quickly address the matter on IFMIS reconciliation challenge with the National Treasury so that the system error is addressed. Further, such challenges should be well documented and reported to the auditors during the interrogation exercise for consideration. 2, engage the National Treasury so that they can give the department some rights to be able to assess what is in the system to help them reconcile and give correct balances when preparing financial statements. 5.2, unaccounted for construction materials and vehicle spare parts. 5.21, observations. The accounting officer provided a breakdown of the various transactions, name of suppliers and specific amounts for each transaction to a total of Kenya shillings 48,475,040 shillings. After audit was completed, hence the audit query. Records of these requisitions were only availed to the committee during the interrogation time. 2, the Office of the Auditor General confirmed to the committee that the stated requisitions were forwarded to them way long after the audit exercise had been concluded. 5.22, Recommendations. 1. The accounting officer should fully disclose all information to auditors during the time of audit pursuant to Section 9(1)(e) of the Public Audit Act 2015 to avoid issues appearing in the management letter and later to appear in the final audit report. 2. The requisitions and the stores ledgers which were provided to the committee during derogation should be forwarded to the Office of the Auditor General for verification to enable subsequent closure of the query. 5.3. Undisclosed assets inherited from defunct local authorities. 5.31. Observations. 1. The committee noted from the query that valuation of all assets inherited from the defunct local authority was not indicated and that only a list of the assets was availed. 2. The committee was provided with the report by the County Assets and Liabilities Committee that was forwarded to the governor in October 2018. The report disclosed the following. 1. Land. There are 1,552 parcels of land that had been surveyed. 5 parcels not surveyed and 727 parcels with no survey data. On physical planning, 155 had been planned, 137 were unplanned, and 1,992 parcels had no planning data. Buildings. Under buildings, the buildings that were acquired from defunct local authority included county and town halls and offices, social halls, schools, market stalls and sheds, health centers, public toilets, and slaughterhouses. Under vehicles, a total of 79 vehicles are serviceable while 16 are grounded. Computers and computer accessories. 3. That all the assets listed above have no corresponding valuation because the county government has up to date not developed a valuation roll. 4. The county government has made progress in the preparation of valuation roll for Machakos County by gazetting the valuation roll committee and also acquiring 2 valuers seconded from the national government, lands department to assist the county in processing the valuation roll. 5.32 recommendations. 1. That the county government in liaison with the national government should acquire title deeds for all parcels of land in the county to help in the valuation process of its assets. 2. To fast track physical planning and surveying of all public land in order to secure them. 3. Repossess any public land illegally transferred and resolve any disputes therein. 4. The county government should fast track valuation process of its properties, that is, both movable and immovable assets, in order to reflect accurate assets values in the financial statements. 5.4. Budget control and performance. 5.41. Observations. 1. The contributing factors that led to budget underperformance, such as the effect of COVID-19 that affected the expected revenue target, was not anticipated and the revenue shortfall affected development plans. 2. The national government deducted about Kenya shillings 130 million from leased medical equipment from source, and this amount had been factored as revenue. In this case, the money did not reach the county revenue fund so as to be recognized as an expenditure. 3. The late disbursement of Kenya shillings 666,865,500 that was received after the lapse of the financial year and remained unutilized affected greatly budget performance. 5.42 recommendation. 1. The variances noted were due to non-achievement of revenue target, which was as a result of unforeseen circumstances. In order to mitigate this, the committee recommends the following. 1. Hasten the process of preparing valuation roll to improve on own resource revenue. It's noted that most properties in the towns, especially Mavoko, have not been valued. 2. Do physical planning of markets to improve on the value of land, hence increase land rates. 3. Monitor strictly the building industry and manage properly building approvals. 4. Revenue collection automation in order to seal all revenue leaks. 5.5 pending bills. 5.51 observations. 1. The county government is making progress in payment of pending bills. By close of the fiscal year 2019-2020, a total of Kenya shillings 901,355,664 had been paid. 2. The pending bills for the fiscal year 2013-2014 have not been cleared because of lack of proper documentation to warrant their processing. 5.52 recommendations. 1. The accounting officer should forward to the Office of the Auditor General supportive documents of the paid pending bills of Kenya shillings 901,355,664 so that the paid transactions could be dropped from appearing as query in the next audit report. 2. The particular pending bills that are not eligible due to lack of documentation should also be disclosed to the Auditor General to facilitate closure. 5.6 Unresolved prior year matters. 5.61 Observations. The committee inquired on the progress of work in both Masi and Machakos stadiums and found that only about 10% of work has been done, which includes excavating the ground and planting of grass. The contractor given to Masi Stadium withdrew because of lack of financial capacity to do the work. In Machakos, the contractor in early March this year, that is 2022, also forwarded. Okay, let me capture it as it is. In Machakos, the contractor in early March this year also forwarded a letter to withdraw the services, citing political interference and frustrations by the area politicians. Currently, work in the two stadiums has halted and residents' expectations for improved sporting facilities have not been realized. 5.62 recommendation. Honorable Speaker, the two contractors for Masi and Machakos Stadium signed and consented on the valued work that they had the capacity to provide the contracted services. Hence the excuse of withdrawing because of financial incapacity or political interference should not be admitted. This delay in executing the contract has denied residents of Machakos services. The committee recommends that legal proceedings be instituted on these two contractors for breaching the procurement agreement. 5.7 Kenya Urban Support Program, that is KUSIP. 5.71 Observations. The construction of non-motorized transport facilities and cabro works along Kitui Road and Grogon area at a sum of Kenya shillings 45,407,649 to Wisdom Holdings Limited was not completed within the scheduled timelines. Currently, the performance is about 95% and the completion time was extended to December 2022 as agreed following COVID-19 pandemic. 2. Honorable Speaker, I wish to bring to attention of Honorable Ndawa that the report I'm reading is in the WhatsApp group. 2. The upgrading work of Nguluni Center roads by Road Track Solutions Limited also delayed following the COVID-19 pandemic. The current status is that the work was completed by last year, 2020, and certificate issued. 5.72 Recommendations. The cabro works along Kitui Road and Grogon area at a sum of Kenya shillings 45,407,649 shillings given to Wisdom Holdings Limited should be completed by December 2022 as agreed with the user department, failure to which the retention fee be used to complete the remaining works. 5.8 Drainage system works in Tala Town. 5.81 Observations. The committee noted with confirmation from the auditors that the matter was corrected and the drainage channels have been cleared and all informal structures were removed. 5.82 Recommendations. The Department on County Administration should tighten its monitoring task to ensure that donor projects under the municipalities, such as the drainage works, are not interfered with so that value for the money spent is realized. 2. The information on the corrective measures taken should be forwarded to the auditor to to help drop the query from appearing in the subsequent years. 5.9, non-motorized transport and parking facility. Observations. Constructing parking bays which are smaller than the 6-meter size specified in the bills of quantities, that is BQ, is contravention on the terms of contract signed. 2. The fact that the constructed parking bays were smaller than the expected size means that the cost of construction went down, hence some excess money was left as balance. 3. Further, constructing parking bays extending to the road, besides being risky, is an indication that proper survey on the works contracted was not done properly to ascertain where in particular the parking bays should have been placed. 5.92 recommendation. The contract work done to Kangundo town on non-motorized transport and parking facility at a cost of 65,200,120 Kenyan shillings indicates contravention on the description of work signed in the contract. This is supported by the fact that the parking bays constructed did not conform with the description signed in the agreement, and no proper survey was done on the site of construction. The committee recommends that the contractor should be surcharged on the excess monies resulting from the small-sized bays constructed. Further, the issuance of completion certificate of the poor work done should be investigated and prosecution done to all persons concerned. 5.10, idle fire station. 5.101, observation. The committee, after scrutinizing the appendixes provided, confirmed that the delay in putting into use the fire facility was attributed to delay in release of funds needed to pay for electricity. The funds were later released, payment done, and the facility is now in use. The committee was therefore satisfied with the response. 5.10.2, recommendations. The committee, having been satisfied with the response, recommends that supportive documents to confirm the delay in the disbursement of the funds and relevant documents to confirm that the facility is currently in use should within the next 14 days be submitted to the auditor for verification and subsequent closure of the query. 5.11, construction of Governor's Lodge. 5.11.1, observations. The county government of Machakos in the previous year had constructed a mega project popularly known as the White House at a cost of Kenya shillings 512,266,117. This building, despite the fact that it pulled a lot of funds from the treasury, is only meant to house the governor, but it is not being used to offer administrative services to the people of Machakos too. That it is true that Yatta and Masinga sub-counties are far from Machakos, and there is need for establishment of administrative offices to serve these two sub-counties effectively so that services and fruits that go with devolution could be felt in those areas. 3. The Matu County Launch, constructed at a cost of Kenya shillings 136,144,199 shillings, is currently in use, and it is hosting many inter-county and national meetings besides being a central office from where residents of Yatta and its environs are being served from. 5.11.2, recommendations. 1. When undertaking project implementation, the executive should consider priority projects first, since the resource envelope that funds projects has limited resources. 2. Mega projects that are likely to utilize huge amounts of money, of funds, like the stated Matu launch. Its implementation should be spread within several financial years so that the project does not affect implementation of other priority projects like water, health, and transport, which are key in propelling economic development. 5.12, procurement of works. 5.12.1, observations. The fact that the Ministry of Health gave conditions of how the tendered works were to be done carried out via a circular dated 15th June 2020, reference MOH/FIN/1/8 A volume 3 into brackets 81. This was not to act as a substitute to carrying out technical evaluation as required in the procurement law. 2, failure to carry out technical evaluation means that competitiveness of the bidders was not tested during the whole process. Hence, the award of the tenders was not transparent and therefore was a breach of Section 81 of the Procurement and Assets Disposal Act 2015. 5.12.2 recommendation. The committee recommends that the 3 listed tenders appearing in the query needs to be investigated on how the processing of the tenders up to award stage was done, and also investigate on the quality of the services rendered, considering that technical evaluation was not done. 5.12.4 procurement of cleaning services. 5.12.4.1 observations. The contract sum of the cleaning services amounting to Kenya shillings 30 million is above the legal threshold, which is set at Kenya shillings 3 million for use of requests for quotations as per the Public Procurement and Disposal into brackets amendments regulations 2013. After the expiry of the contract period as required by the Public Procurement and Disposal Act 2015, the tender should have been advertised afresh for new bidders to apply. The response that the tender period was extended because of COVID-19 period was inadequate as far as the committee is concerned. 3. The committee confirmed that this tender award was given to Diana King, and the same Diana King irregularly extended services after the expiry of the tender period. 5.12.4.2 recommendations. The committee recommends investigation on the process of award of the queried tender of supply of cleaning services and establishes all the irregularities occurring in the whole process and prosecute any concerned persons. 5.13 provision of laundry services. 5.13.1 observation. The tender amount of Kenya shillings 656,448 per month, which translates to Kenya shillings 7,877,376 per annum, exceeds the Kenya shillings 3 million prescribed in regard to requests for quotations for services. This is against the Public Procurement Amendment Regulations 2013. 5.13.2 recommendation. The committee recommends investigation to be done on the process of award of the queried tender of supply of laundry services and establish all the irregularities occurring in the whole process and prosecute any concerned persons. 5.14 delayed remittance of statutory deductions. 5.14.1 observations. The committee confirmed that during the stated months, payment of salaries delayed for 2 months due to late disbursement of the exchequer releases, and this led to delay in payment of the queried statutory deductions. 2. The grounds leading to delay in forwarding of the statutory deductions were not disclosed to the auditors during the interrogation exercise. 5.14.2 recommendation. The committee recommends that supportive documents to confirm the delay in the disbursement of the funds should be done within the next 14 days, be submitted to the auditor for verification. Madam Speaker, I beg to repeat. 5.14.2 recommendation. The committee recommends that supportive documents to confirm the delay in the disbursement of the funds should be within the next 14 days be submitted to the auditor for verification and subsequent closure of the query. 5.15 non-adherence to requirements on vocational training grants. 5.15.1 during the year under review 2019-2020, the World Bank did not require counties to match the grants as stated by the auditor, but in the 2020-2021, the matching fund requirement was applicable. The regulations were availed to the committee for confirmation. 5.15.2 recommendation. The applicable documentations relating to this query should be availed to the auditor within the next 14 days for verification and subsequent closure of the query. 5.17, high wage bill. 5.171, observations. The committee observed that with the high wage bill paid to the health department employees every month, it is practically difficult to attain the 35% requirement for the compensation of employees. 5.172, recommendations. The county government should do a staff audit to establish the number of staff that fall under the technical and supportive categories and advise on possible early retirement of excess supportive staff. 2. Through the staff audit, the county government can also establish the possibility of ghost workers with a view of determining the authenticity of the wage bill. 5.18, failure to observe the 1/3 basic salary rule. 5.181, observations. The committee was not satisfied with the response that retirement and contract expiry is a factor contributing to non-adherence to the 1/3 basic salary rule because after retirement and contract expiry, the employees cease to be in service. 2. The committee observed that in as much as SACCO loans and insurance policy deductions are not controlled by the 1/3 basic salary rule in the IPPD system, the administration has failed to institute internal control measures to prevent the occurrence of staff overcommitting their salaries. 5.18.2, recommendation. The administration should strengthen internal controls to ensure that all salary deductions are in observance of the 1/3 basic salary rule as per the provisions of Section 19.3 of Employment Act 2007. 5.19, irregular terms of employment. 5.19.1, observations. The committee observed that the department has made progress in confirming the affected employees, out of which a total of 375 of the 478 employees have already been confirmed. The documentation for the remaining 103 is being processed by the CPSB. 2. The committee observed that the board has taken inordinately long to verify the documentation of officers inherited from the local authorities. 3. The committee observed that the accounting officer has not responded to the query on the 42 employees who were admitted into pensionable terms of service before the lapse of the statutory probation period of 6 months. 5.19.2, recommendations. The County Public Service Board should hasten the verification and confirmation process of the 103 employees to ensure adherence to the provisions of Part 2, Section B of the Human Resource Policies and Procedures Manual for the Public Service 2016 and appraise the Assembly with a report on the progress of the confirmation process as provided in Standing Order 181. 2. The committee recommends that an investigation be undertaken on the recruitment process of the 42 employees and if found culpable, action be taken against the recruiting authority. 5.20, lack of ethnic diversity. 5.20.1, observation. The committee observed that the County Public Service Board contravened the provisions of Section 65(1)(e) of the County Governments Act 2012 on observance of diversity in the recruitment process. 5.20.2, recommendation. The committee recommends that the CPSB should observe the said provisions going forward. 5.22, failure to meet recruitment threshold for persons with disabilities. 5.221, the committee observed that the County Public Service Board contravened the provisions of Section B23(2) of the Human Resource Policies and Procedures Manual for the Public Service 2016 on the recruitment threshold of PLWDs. 5.22.2, recommendation. The committee recommends that the CPSB should observe the said provisions going forward. 5.23, lack of information communication technology policy and strategic plan. 5.23.1, observations. 1. The committee observed that the county government is using the County Integrated Financial Operations Management System, that is CIFOMS. It was further observed that only a few revenue streams are connected to this system. Key revenue streams like the quarries, which provide 65% of the total county revenue, are not connected to the system. 2. The committee noted that there is a current ICT policy that was approved by the cabinet in September 2021, but was not forwarded to the assembly for approval. 5.23.2 recommendations. 1. The assembly recommends investigation of the grounds that led to the exclusion of key revenue streams in the county integrated financial operations management system. Additionally, investigate the system that manages revenue collection from the quarries. Audit the amount of revenue collected from the quarries in the financial year in question and establish loopholes leading to possible revenue loss. 2. The ICT policy should be forwarded to the county assembly for approval. 5.24, lack of independent internal audit function. 5.241, the committee observed that the internal auditor approves payment contrary to the dictates of best practice. As a result, the independence of the unit is compromised. 5.24.3 recommendation. The county executive should implement the clear roles of an internal auditor as stipulated in section 155(6) of the Public Finance Management Act 2012. 5.25 receipts of revenue through personal checks. Honorable Speaker, it was noted that personal checks were used to pay for county government services contrary to regulation 82(9) of the Public Finance Management into brackets county governments regulations 2015, and some of the checks were dishonored, thereby attracting unwarranted bank charges and possible revenue loss. 2. There was no information to show if the county executive made a follow-up to recover revenue, that is into brackets payment for services from the persons who had issued the dishonored checks. 5.252 recommendations. The county executive should in the next 90 days furnish the assembly with a report detailing the action taken to collect the revenue resulting from the dishonored checks and proof of the amount paid. 2. The county executive should in the next 90 days furnish the county assembly with information on action taken against the persons who issued the dishonored checks and proof of the same. Conclusion.
Honorable Mita, before conclusion, if you go back to 5.232, I believe the first recommendation should be the committee, not the assembly. The assembly resolves, does not recommend.
Thank you,
No,
Honorable Speaker.
it's the committee.
Yeah, I can repeat, Honorable Speaker,
Yes.
with your permission. 5.232. The committee recommends investigation on the grounds that led to the exclusion of key revenue streams in the county integrated financial operations management system. Additionally, investigate the system that manages revenue collection from the quarries. Audit the amount of revenue collected from the quarries in the financial year in question and establish loopholes leading to possible revenue loss. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I can go now to 6.0, conclusion. Honorable Speaker, the management of public funds is an issue the Kenyan population is passionate about. A fundamental objective of every government is maintenance of fiscal discipline, resource mobilization, strategic resource allocation, and efficient delivery of public services. When the devolved system of government was adopted in Kenya, the importance of establishing strong and effective financial systems at the county level became inevitable. There has been considerable effort towards establishing the foundations of a sound PFM systems in many areas within the devolved system of government in Kenya. Although implementation of the PFM systems in the counties is still in its formative stages, considerable achievements have been made in many fronts. It is therefore my privilege and pleasure on behalf of Public Accounts and Investment Committee to table before this Honorable House The report on financial statements of County Executive of Machakos for the year ended June 2020 for discussion and adoption. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. It's supposed to have been read by Honorable Winfred Mutua, the Vice Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Mita. Honorable members, I now propose the question that this House discusses and approves the report of the Public Accounts and Investments Committee on the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the County Executive of Machakos for the year ended 30th June 2020. Honorable members, I invite you to debate the motion. Honorable Matei.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I first wish to congratulate the committee that has come up with such a lengthy and well-written report. I think the analysis is wonderful. I only have 2 items to comment on. The first one being pending bills for 2021. If I heard well, it said that pending bills for 2021 were not able to be paid because of lack of documentation. I think this is a serious matter because procurement process within any government entity is clear. I do not understand at what stage documents are lacking because it's a two-way traffic. You give you an LPO, the government issues an LPO and the supplier issues an invoice for what they have done. So I'm not understanding whether it is the LPO that is lacking or people were meant or were given contracts to provide services without proper documentation from the county. And this is a very serious matter because somehow, somewhere, somebody is lying to the other. My other issue that I wanted to bring about is on the revenue collection, on-source revenue. I think this year's budget, we have put revenue collection at 1.8 billion. I still feel that this is very low for a county like Machakos, where we have got so many foreign investors within the county, including factories. The system, the so-called automated system, doesn't seem to be doing enough to be able to get us to collect more billions for the county. So her system is as good as the people who have put it in place. And I think I've heard also from the reading that some areas of tariff correction were also omitted within the system. So I call upon the government to ensure, Machakos government, to ensure that all areas that are a source of revenue be automated and ensure that that automated system is above board. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Matei. Honorable Kisini, proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for also giving me time to contribute to this debate. I first want also to thank the committee for bringing this report, and more especially our whip who has taken us through. Madam Speaker, my name is Honorable Robert Kisini, representing the people of Athi River. The report has touched on many areas, and it has highlighted so many areas, and I think I should say the Auditor General has really done his work to really pinpoint most areas which have not been done, which have not been completed, and whereby county money has been used. Madam Speaker, I've just stood for one concern, and more especially in my area, Machakos Stadium, whereby it has really affected the residents or the people of the river. Madam Speaker, just to report is that, as you have heard from the report, a lot of money have been used on that stadium, but when you go to the ground, there is nothing really to show. It was fenced with the mabatis or iron sheets. Those contractors we have had and who have really changed hands just dunk soil, interfered with the sports ground. People cannot get in it, and there's nothing they can do. Madam Speaker, just to say a bit. Yesterday, as we were doing public participation for the Mavoko sub-count, the stadium also brought a lot of queries that if there was no money, why was it really fenced off? Why was it not put off from the youth, from the public? Because for the 5 years, people have not used that stadium, they have really suffered. So the concern was, if there was no money, and it was really being used before by clubs, local clubs, it was also used by schools around. So all that was, even in the public holidays, it was also used like Jamhuri, Madaraka Day, and so forth. So for the 5 years, people of Mavoko have not been using that stadium, but there's nothing which has happened in it. So, Madam Speaker, I just want to stand and say that that stadium is really, really, really pathetic. There's no work done. And when you see the figures which have been stated there in the report which have been used, there's nothing to show.
How much?
I can't remember, but our whip has just mentioned the amount of money which has been spent.
Honorable Mita, can you guide us to how much is been spent on that stadium which is not operational? The table office, can you assist also on the long report? The table office.
Honorable Speaker, though it's not giving the amount, but what I went through is that the progress of work in both Masi and Mavoko stadiums
Is not
and
installed.
it's only 10%.
10%.
Yeah, that's
So it wasn't indicated how much was paid for that 10%.
for what with what I have. There's
Yeah.
nothing. It's not
Okay,
captured.
thank you. Honorable Kisini.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Even if not here, it has been reported in other reports just in this house. Madam Speaker, this stadium, I understand that it has been picked by the national government through the culture and sports and through the area MP who chairs the committee of sports at Parliament, but still work has not been done. So as the area member, there's a lot of concern, and that is an area which should be followed. And I conclude, Madam Speaker, to say that when the next government comes in place, please, let's consider about the people of Mavoko. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Kamitu.
Thank you once again, Madam Speaker. I'm Alex Kamitu, leader of minority and MC Talawad. Madam Speaker, I'm going through this report by the Public Accounts and Investment Committee. Madam Speaker, we have also noted this is a summary in regard to the financial statements. And my concern, Madam Speaker, is...
Honorable Kamitu, just before we close, Honorable Mita, I have seen on the report the question of how much was paid on that stadium. I am seeing a report like about 5 million. That's what is showing on some place. So about 5 million. For Masi, about 4.7, and for Mavoko, about 4.8. So that is still lots of money for whatever appears not work which has not been done. It was good that we confirm for purposes of the record on the hand side. Honorable Kisini, you're right in expressing the concern of that.
Thank you,
huge
Madam
amount of
Speaker.
money,
I'm
and
fully
nothing
guided.
is there to show on the ground. Honorable Kamito, you can proceed.
Yeah, Madam Speaker, as I stand to continue in regard to the report, Madam Speaker, the committee made some following observation, and let me stand to talk about in page 5.3, Madam Speaker. It is very interesting, Madam Speaker, to say that there were government assets that were supposed to be handed over and which were inherited by the county government from the de facto local authority. And up to now, Madam Speaker, the most disappointing issue is that up to now, the county government and up to date has not developed a valuation role. Madam Speaker, you are aware that land is a very important issue, is a crucial issue in regard to the land that was inherited from the de facto local government. Issues to do with the land, issues to do with the buildings, issues to do with the vehicles. And you can see in 531 that there are 1,552 parcels of land that had been surveyed. 5 parcels not surveyed and 727 parcels with no survey data. On fiscal planning, 155 had been planned, 137 were unplanned, and 1,992 parcels had no planning data. Madam Speaker, this is a very, this is an area whereby, as an assembly, come the next government. This is an area that they are supposed to investigate and find out why issues to do with land were not surveyed. There are no title deeds for the land and for the buildings. Because, Madam Speaker, come now during the transition period, I don't know who is going to hand over things that have no data, areas that have no title deeds. Because, Madam Speaker, you know what I'm talking about as Kenyans. Many people who are in the office may acquire illegally the government lands or the government buildings and change into their own use. So, Madam Speaker, this is a concern whereby it will be very important. And during the handing over, issues of land, buildings should be taken over and the proper data obtained. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
So before you sit down, Honorable Kamito, did you say that you sit in the committee? You don't. You
No,
don't
I
sit
don't.
in that
I don't.
committee. But because it is still you who raised the issue of these assets of the county government, can we get, for purposes of our record, how many parcels of land are owned by the county government which are not even accounted for or undisclosed? We are seeing 1552 parcels which are said to be surveyed. That correct, Honorable Mita? You prosecuted this report.
Honorable Speaker, if I can repeat,
Yes.
it's under 5.3.1.2. It states, the committee was provided with report by the County Assets and Liabilities Committee that was forwarded to the Governor in October 2018. The report disclosed the following. That is land. There are 1,552 parcels of land.
Those are owned by the county government?
Yes, that
Or are
had been,
supposed to be owned by the county government?
yeah, that had been surveyed.
Surveyed?
Yeah. There are also 5 parcels not surveyed.
So that makes 557?
Yes.
We are counting how many,
Yes. Yes.
parcels of land that are owned by the county government?
Yes. And then,
Point of information, Honorable Matei? Yes, Madam Speaker, I think... You sit in the committee?
No, I don't see it in the committee, but this is very important information. I think we need to go further and get the itemized parcels.
That's why I'm pursuing, I'm checking on the matter, Honorable Helen. Yes, that's a property of the public. Yeah? And you can see this is a lot of property. Where is it? So there's 1,557 plots. And then?
Yeah. And then there is also 727 parcels with no survey data.
So even if they don't have survey data, that gives you how many? 2,284 parcels. And then?
And then I think this now on that is on the number of parcels.
In total.
Now we go now on physical planning of I think those parcels.
Yeah, the rest is physical planning.
Yes, yes.
So
yes.
it's 2,284 parcels of land that are supposed to be owned by the county government.
Madam Speaker, can I also add on something?
About
Please.
that?
Yes.
Okay, this is quite an emotive issue. Honorable
Madam Speaker, although it is not in the report, and we are talking of lands which should have been owned by the county government, even municipals and some equipments, they should also be followed. They had some equipments like Mavoko.
Now, before you leave the issue of land, I think there are other members who have something to do with that. In other words, what you're saying is there's more property that's supposed to be under the county government.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I also want to add on something else. All those lands which have been
Put on the mic, please.
all those lands that have been surrendered by developers. I would also like to know, because like in Mudhwani and Mavoko in general, we have flood subdivision been going on, also in Tara and somewhere else. People have been given surrendering lands to the county to the government. Yet we don't have lands to build areas like Joska, and yet we have so many lands which have been subdivided. I would also like to know how we are going to get those lands. Like the one in Joska town, where we wanted to build a hospital. It was been taken by a company called Sawasawa. Yet it was surrendered knowingly by the owners who are being given land, who are being compensated land by the government at that time. And there are records which are there. Yes, the land now have been subdivided and title given to a company somewhere in Joska. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Is it still about land, Honorable Mutiso? You've been around here for long enough to know what was there. You could let us.
Yes, Madam Speaker. What I can say is that land in Machakos is just a thorn issue, because during the transition time, some lists were not surrendered to the government. Some of them were hidden. They were not disclosed. Because, for example, Madam Speaker, I've been in Machakos municipal for 10 years, and I was a member on land committee. But what I saw there, some lands parcels were not disclosed. The list was not given to the county government that time. The one I saw that time. So what I mean is that, and it's a pathetic situation, Madam Speaker, because in Machakos, we have a brand of land, government land. But imagine, Machakos town is the only place whereby we don't have an office of an MCA. And there's a lot of brand of land lying all over here. And if you go on your way to St. Valentine, you can see a lot of empty spaces there, which is for government. But this time now, developments are coming up. That means that that area land was grabbed. If you can go to near Mapipye, there's a land there which is a government land, whereby there are mushrooms. Big buildings are coming up. And if I know that land is government land, but now it was divided. One side they are coming up big buildings, the other side the same. But in the middle, there's just a land, a building which was for county which was for municipal council, but it was for county government that time, county council, that is what I mean. But now it is owned by someone. I don't know who is, but it was during the time of Kaimenyi, whereby people got title on it. So on that issue, Madam Speaker, I don't know what we can do, because as I know, a lot of government land have been grabbed. If you can go to industrial area, there's another area where goats and all other properties collected from the members of the community. There was somewhere where there were goats and those things were impounded.
Holding.
Yes.
Livestock
But right
holding.
now, that land is fenced, is owned by someone. So on that side, there are a lot of problems. If you go to Catalan, the same. But you know, when you say some things, but we don't care about anything. You know, you are just scared and threatened.
But who said there's anything?
No, I know what is happening. When you touch some areas like land, you are in for it.
Honorable member.
So, Madam Speaker, I'm saying that if you go to some areas like Gunga's area, there is a government land there where the clerk used to stay. But if you can go there, now one part of that area is fenced. I don't know whose land is that. When you go near court here, you can see the same. So there are a lot of issues on land issues, Madam Speaker. We need something to be done. A forensic survey can be done.
Mheshimiwa Mutiso has been pushing for land in Machakos town to build the ward office. And he's here, but he has no land. That's why the board has not put up an office for you, because you have not brought the land to us.
But I think on that one, Madam Speaker,
you know there has been no land.
The
Now
county
you have
assembly,
less than 2 months to go.
on that one, the county
It's okay,
assembly
it's okay.
could do something, because this land up to where the labor officers were is just a government land which is owned by this assembly. So that area I can get something which I can.
It's not owned by the assembly. The assembly doesn't have a title, but it is the same land as where we are. It continues to the labor office.
Thank you.
So you can see the gravity of the seriousness of this matter, members. And I think at this point I'll call upon Honorable Mita, the mover of the motion, to reply, because we don't want to extend the time. We have just a few minutes to 12:30.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As I conclude, Honorable Speaker, I want to remind my colleagues that I think in 2019 or 2020, before COVID, I sought a statement on this issue. And unfortunately, those forces ensured that statement did not reach anywhere, Honorable
You are
Speaker.
seeking a statement on?
Status of what the transition authority.
Transition authority, the report.
Yeah, that is the report I actually fought for so hard, Honorable Speaker. Of course, I got some beatings here and there, but at the right time, what is duly owned by this county government of Machakos
Shall get to be known.
it will come out, Honorable Speaker. It cannot remain with them forever. Yes. Honorable Speaker, I want to appreciate my colleagues for their contribution towards this report. Honorable Speaker, as I said earlier, I'm actually holding a brief for the honorable members, but I've been so much interested in such reports such that I did not find any difficulty in going through it. But of course, Honorable Speaker, I've picked some issues which I hope at the right time also they'll be looked at. We have inaccuracies of financial statutory. That is the statements. They have so much inaccuracies. There is also a poor disclosure of information, Honorable Speaker, by the concerned persons. On the side of procurement, Honorable Speaker, there is a lot of irregularities. We also have issues to do with unpaid pending bills, Honorable Speaker. How I wish, Honorable Speaker, this term of Second Assembly is coming to an end with a zero amount of unpaid bills, Honorable Speaker. It has been my prayer, but also it seems these are an avenue for people to make money, Honorable Speaker. We once passed a supplementary budget which we were told it will not be touched for anything to do with development, Madam Speaker. We had a sitting with His Excellency, the Governor, and after we passed that bill, we thought anything called pending bill will come to an end. Unfortunately, only last week when I was interrogating my department as we prepare the budget, a lot of pending bills came up, and we could not even proceed because I had to stop the sitting. In my knowledge, I know there is nothing like pending bills, but the committee brought so much, the department brought so much issues to do with pending bills, 2013, 2014. Honorable Speaker, that has been captured. Also, there is this issue of carrying forward queries. Surely, Honorable Speaker, if the Auditor General has raised a question this year, it should not come the following year because we have all the time to make amendments. So what I would request is for disclosure during audit time. Let them find the right information with the officers so that they don't have back and forth queries. Also observing accuracies in statements. Honorable Speaker, in between we have realized there is somewhere we are told the information contained in the IFMIS is not the information with the Treasury. They should not, because I believe we do things in 4 lines. So if you are paid 10 shillings for a pen, should not appear amount X in the IFMIS and amount X, I mean amount Y in the other side. Also, issues to do with IFMIS. Also, this has been an issue which our officers are using as an excuse, Honorable Speaker. We are not doing this because of IFMIS, we are not. And I believe, like recently we passed last year we passed a budget, recently we passed a supplementary budget. And one thing which we were being told that budget cannot operate is because they are keying in information to IFMIS. So if you have time to key in this information to IFMIS, why should it become as an excuse of you not doing something? So, Honorable Speaker, I believe there is so much laxity with the people who are being given this work, and I hope and I pray, because I remain a resident of this county, great county of Machakos, again one day things will be done the right way. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
And that should be the prayer of everybody. Honorable members, I now put the question that this House discusses and approves the report of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee on the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the County Executive, Machakos, for the year ended 30th June 2020. As many as of the opinion say aye.
Aye.
As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. So, honorable members, at this point, the sitting is adjourned. It is going to resume on the 24th day of May 2022 at 2:30 p.m.